Welcome to Shop Coverlet. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And this is Variety Hour.
A little variety hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do anything good this week?
No.
No?
This week sucked for me. I went to Walmart,
Okay.
doing my grocery shopping as I always do. Being awake overnights, it's perfect because there's never anyone there. Nothing else is ever open, so I can excuse it to myself. That's why I'm shopping at Walmart. Get about $120 worth of groceries because it's been a while since I haven't gone in a couple weeks actually. Been living the bachelor life, going to McDonald's, going to this fast food, going to have fast food, which is terrible for you. So I said, well, I'm going to go out and get my groceries. It's something I normally do every week. Go up to pay, slide my card. My chip is messed up for some reason. So normally you slide it, you put the chip in 3 times and then you slide it, Wait a minute. Yeah, apparently what had happened was my chip malfunctioned. So the bank said, well, we're going to go ahead and cancel your card.
Oh, isn't that fun?
We're not going to tell you. We're just going to cancel your card and allow you to make an ass of yourself in public. Now, here's the thing. What if I hadn't been at Walmart at 3 in the morning? What if I had been at dinner at 8 o'clock at night? Didn't have another way to pay for it,
True.
I've been so busy, haven't had I normally do cash,
Yeah.
right? And I normally do grocery shopping every week. So now I had to go an extra week without groceries because it was my last day off, So I had to go an extra week without groceries. I had to be up until 10 o'clock in the morning because that's when the bank opened because, banks are banks. So then I get to the bank and I am furious. I said, hey, I've got the money. What's wrong with my card? Oh, well, it looks like you had a malfunction. So you're telling me that because the card you issued me is wrong, my money, because the card you issued me is faulty, by no fault other than your own and faulty manufacturing, I don't have my money. My money doesn't belong to me. Well, sir, that's not exactly okay.
You're the guy no one wants to deal with.
Well, I don't raise my voice.
Okay.
I don't throw things. I probably have a look on my face that says I'm going to murder you.
Are you sure it was a chip malfunction? They were just like, Adrian Ford spending $100 on groceries? No, that's stolen.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
But it is nice to know that I've still got it. That I can go someplace and talk very calmly and very slowly and very precisely and scare the ever-loving hell out of someone. This girl was petrified.
She should be.
And I know, it's not her fault. I work retail, so I understand someone coming in and being angry at something that I didn't do. But how much bullshit is it that they screwed up so my money doesn't belong to me?
Okay.
It's
fair. You're going to be the guy who doesn't trust banks next year, aren't you? Like, that's going to be your goal. It's just like, you're going to get a mattress.
I've got a stash of cash.
I know you
Stash
do.
of cash.
I know. Have you ever been through a point, though, where it's not your card, but, like, it's an identity problem, like where your information was compromised, somebody actually used your money?
I don't think I have had that problem, but I had something that was officially close.
You think the chip's a problem? Do that. Try that on for size. When they shut the account down and you can't access it until it's resolved.
Yeah.
Then you don't have your money for at least a few weeks. Like, it's just gone. Figure it out.
Yeah.
So I woke up at one point in time. I had been drinking very heavily the night before. And I had stayed at a woman's house. And I woke up the next morning with a call from my bank saying, Mr. Gentry, would you please contact us as soon as you receive this message? I'm like, how much I fucking spent at the bar? That's unusual for me. Normally I'm pretty on top of things. Like, there's no way I overdrafted, but like, my God. Maybe I left the card, like they leave it there and like somebody else was using it, whatever. So I call and they're like, well, it seems like we've shut down your account because you have a charge for $1,300 at a Best Buy in Colorado. I'm like, don't think I drank that much.
What year was that?
This would have been, I was in college.
Yeah. You sure it was Colorado, not Arizona?
Pretty sure it was Colorado.
Because when I was living I did have that problem.
Okay.
Someone tried to buy a TV with my card in Arizona.
It was a TV in Colorado. Best Buy.
Huh.
But anyway, they'd shut the account down because I'm like, listen, like I'm honest with them. I'm like, listen, I don't recall a lot of last night, but I am goddamn certain I didn't make it to Colorado. 100%. Like, that's pretty impressive, but like, yeah, obviously. So they shut the account down, and basically you're just in flux. Like, the account shut down as they investigate it. You got to wait for a new card to get to you. You got to wait for a new checking account number, so you can't use checks. So, like, I'm like, can I at least come
withdraw
and get some cash? And they're like, well, we could probably do, like, a certain limit until we can figure this out. I'm like, so basically, all the money that I have is now just yours until this is situated. And, like, I understand it's a safety thing. They're trying to look out for my own best interest. But
They're trying to look out for their best interest.
True.
Because they don't want you saying anything later.
It sucks, man.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Sucks.
Yeah, I had that problem. It was a TV in Arizona, which maybe someone just took both of our cards and made a V, you know what I mean? I don't know what it was, but my card declined, and this was shortly after my card declined because I didn't have any money.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my God, what happened? What have I done? Did I ever tell that story? I used to get a coffee every morning in the library. They had a little coffee beacon in the library, and it was the most gorgeous thing. Because coffee and the library, I don't have to go anywhere else.
They still have it.
Yeah, and I would get a coffee every morning, and one morning I went up there and tried to slide my card, and Pam says, I'm sorry, honey. I said, what do you mean? I said, you don't have any money. Yeah, I do. I've got money. Let me try it again. I'm sorry, honey. You got no cash.
It's a huge fear of mine, man.
Yeah,
Like,
so she just gave me my coffee, but what had happened was apparently my apartment complex decided not to cash my rent check for weeks. So it was like the 20th of the month. And I had checked my bank account to make sure I was cool, right? Because this was that time of life where you're kind of skating on thin ice and you got to check every once in a while. And I was fine. So I went and I had bought my mother a birthday present. And the next morning I went to do the coffee, and that's when it told me. Apparently I had overdrafted like $300. Because I bought her a $100 little table thing from the Target. And that's not good because you overdraft in $50 segments apparently. So every $50 that you overdraft, they charge you another $15 or something at the time. So then they cashed my rent check, right? So that's what put me they cashed my rent check, then I bought that, then, so that's what put me hundreds of dollars in the red. And all I didn't have a full tank of gas to be able to get to Kansas City to give my mother her gift.
Yeah.
I didn't have any food. I had not the ability to get food. I had like $5 cash. I lived for a week until my paycheck on stale almonds.
You told me this. I've heard this.
And then I went to I was on campus one day. I was just too hungry. So I went to the cafeteria, and they had these little yogurts. And they had whipped cream on the top, and they had granola on the bottom. I was like, all right. So I'm making my way through this thing of yogurt. Get to the middle, and there's bananas. I'm allergic to bananas. So I went, arp, 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 arp. Oh my God.
There's bananas.
There's an entire layer of bananas in this thing.
It's bananas.
It's, of course, yogurt. It soaks up into yogurt. I could be dead in minutes. I ate it. I didn't care. I was too hungry at that point. Didn't have an allergic reaction. So I was fine. Not a very bad allergic reaction. It was hard for me to breathe through my next class, but I survived.
Okay. So, you ever just have you're telling a story and there's a little part that you leave out. You're like, just omit that detail. But then you sit and you mull on it. You're like,
that's the best detail.
It's really the best detail. So, my bank was in Cameron. I was in St. Joseph. I had no gas. So I have no money. I have no card. At this point in my life, I don't have a credit card. So I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So I go back to where I was the night before I left, and that was to Josh's house. And he wasn't the happiest with me because I'd left with his sister, who I should not have been going home with that night. And I'm like, hey, buddy, I gotta get to Cameron. You got a 20 on you. I'm poor. He's like, what did you do? I'm like, I bought a TV in Best Buy in Colorado. Can I borrow $20? And that might have been the lowest point of my existence.
And it's so ironic because now Josh lives in your attic.
Now Josh lives in my attic.
And it's the lowest part of his lowest point in his life. So you guys have shared that.
I'm so ashamed of what was. But no, having your identity stolen or your card compromised, it's awful, man. There's nothing worse than that. So we're having a party next weekend. It's an annual party that I throw every year. It's a big one. I usually do 2 big parties of the year, one in the summer, one in the winter. Big summer party and a Christmas party. So, I have forgotten that we're this close to this day, and like it's a week away and I've done nothing. So I have so much shit to do next week and I have no idea how the hell I'm going to do it. And I'm talking to my sister because she came up for some reason. I think she just came to visit, like a gymnastic meet in the area, so she came by to visit. I was talking about, like, I really need to get the Christmas tree up. I really need to get all these decorations. I have a 2-story beer bong that spirals down my staircase because I'm a bad person. And that is, like, the highlight of the party. And she's like, I've got 13 trees in my house this year. I'm like, 13 fucking Christmas trees, man.
For what?
Decoration.
What?
13 Christmas trees.
You're not the bad person. She's the bad person.
And like,
who needs a single Christmas tree?
Like, I don't come from a lot of money. So like, my Christmas tree was my grandmother's Christmas tree from like the 50s. It's seen better days. I don't understand how at any point in your life you're like, you know what? I'm going to put up a second Christmas tree this year.
I'm just going to collect them.
And then that spirals so far down, you're like, 13 Christmas trees. And like, I'm giving her shit. I'm like, why do you have this many trees? She's like, well, that's not all of them. That's just all I've got put up.
Well, how old is she?
Probably, well, how old am I? 28. I assume she's in her late 30s.
Who is this?
This is my older sister.
You don't know your sister's age?
Not a clue. I don't know my parents' age.
Anyway, it's not even like she's picking them up at the rate of 1 a year. Like,
No.
It's not like this is the 18 tree, that's the 17 tree.
This year, she sat down and she's like, you know what? We made it. We'll buy a shitload of Christmas trees. We're going to show those neighbors our Christmas spirit. You're like, I don't even think I could fit 13 Christmas trees inside my house.
I'd have trouble with the one.
I'm having trouble with the one because, like, now we've got more bookshelves in the house because Megan moved in. And there's more books and more stuff. I'm like, I don't know where we're going to put the tree. Just get a little tree and put it on the table.
Yeah.
It'll work. We'll figure it out.
You're going to have to.
But anyway, it's going to be a good shindig.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know, I might see if I want to film something. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's a good time, though.
Well, you got to film something. We'll put it on Bantam.
Okay.
A little bit of footage for Bantam.
The 2-story beer bong?
Maybe, whatever.
Okay.
I mean,
always a great idea. We thought of it, and like we have it. It's candy cane decorated, so it looks like a big Christmas decoration. But somebody stands at the top of the banister of the stairs, pours in, and it all the way down. Great idea in theory.
yeah. Until a beer hits your throat at 40 miles an hour.
Also fine, because it's honestly it's pretty normal like a beer bong. That's not the problem. It's once the velocity is stopped. And you realize there's half a can of beer in this tube that you have to now, like, suck out of a giant straw. As you're laying on the ground just, like, foaming at the mouth. It's not a fun experience, but, you know, it's Christmas. What do you do? That's my story of the week.
We're good.
Gotta get that stuff up and gotta get it done.
Yeah.
So if I just look haggard next week, that's why.
If you're Hagrid?
If I'm haggard next week, absolutely.
You do look a bit like I would imagine Hagrid looks.
Yeah. Beard, long hair.
Hagrid Gentry.
Bumbling around with nothing right to do, just screwing everything up.
Yeah.
Hagrid.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Have you got anything else to talk about?
Not really, actually. Not really. That was it.
Yeah.
The identity theft story just came out of nowhere. I really just wanted to complain about the Christmas party because I have work to do for it.
Yeah.
Which is awful. You are more than welcome to come, by the way.
Oh, that's okay.
We do a Christmas booze exchange.
That's okay.
It's like everybody brings a bottle, we wrap it up, and then, it's like a white elephant. You never know what bottle you're going to get.
I would end up with vodka.
One year I ended up with sriracha flavored vodka. Because the idea is, like some people get nice bottles, some people are assholes.
Some people get vodka.
And you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I would get vodka.
That Sriracha vodka sat on my shelf for like 2 years. Never touched it until I realized that makes a hell of a Bloody Mary. Not bad at all.
It's like you just mix it with V8s and it's...
It's really a genius idea, though, is the Christmas booze exchange. Because I don't have to fund anything for this party.
Yeah.
And everybody's already going to bring, their wine and their beer anyway. But now everybody brings a bottle of liquor. And then everybody opens it. And then everybody wants to taste it. So the party just supplies itself. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm going to get you out of the house.
I doubt
That's
it.
all I want.
We need to go to the casino together sometime.
Let's go right now. We'll film it for Bantam. They'll take
They're
the
not going
phone
to
at the
let you.
door.
Yeah, they're not going to let you put the...
Some casinos in Las Vegas have started to allow you to film, though.
Yeah.
Because it's almost impossible at this point to say you can't, because everybody's got a camera in their pocket.
Yeah.
But I would imagine the good old Missouri casinos are still frowning upon that.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so. But we'll make it a thing. We'll figure it out. We'll go to like an underground, bingo night or something. My mother plays bingo now. Have I told you that?
No. Well, a little bit. You've told me a little bit about it.
Like, that's her big thing. She gets out of the house once a week. She goes and plays bingo.
Yeah.
And she loves it.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of a bingo hall because, 1, the coffee's free. 2, I can chain smoke. And 3, I can sit around and basically gamble. It's fun. But you don't really lose much.
Yeah.
My father loves it, though. Because he's basically like, well, instead of spending all my money throughout the week, I give her an allowance. And she goes out and she plays bingo and she loses it. It's fine. I know how much I'm losing every week. As opposed to her sitting at home on Swap Shop all day. So, it works out. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Has your mother found Etsy?
Let's not talk
So she
about
doesn't know about your Etsy yet?
She occasionally... Okay, so, I knit and I occasionally crochet. Not a problem. Something I've always done. I got on Etsy once, and I was looking at patterns and stuff, trying to get some ideas, and I come across what's called a patchwork hat. And it basically just looks like they crocheted little patchwork circles in different colors, and then crocheted them together in the shape of a hat. And they were selling for $600. And this person has hundreds and hundreds of reviews. And I'm looking at this and I could make one of those a day. Not a problem. I'm in the wrong business at this point. I need to become an Etsy man.
Dalton, you're far too lazy for that.
That's fair.
You know you're far too lazy for that.
But here's the thing. If you sit... If you had... Okay, let's just put in the idea of working. If I said I need you to do something, and at the end of the day, $600, it's worth it.
Dalton, you are far too lazy for that.
It's worth it.
I know it's worth it. You're far too lazy for it. What you would start doing is saying, well, all I really have to do is make 2 a month.
2 a month will get me by. 2
And
hats
you would
a
make
month.
2 hats a month.
2 hats a month.
And then you'd realize, well, wait a minute. I don't have a boss to bitch about. I have to have a boss to bitch about. What am I going to do? I'll go get an hourly job.
It's really the best part about Strip Cover Lit as well, because I can bitch about you. I'm like, God damn it, you just make me read this fucking book.
I know. I know it is.
fine.
And you know when I knew that?
Day one.
When you came here and you said, "What's up, boss?" You called me boss.
I call a lot of people boss, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of a go-to.
But it's different.
Is it?
Because then you can bitch about me.
That's fair.
All
That's
those
fair.
people you call boss, do you bitch about them?
Well, I bitch about everybody, so yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to justify it. Say you have to psychologically justify things. It's perfect. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what else to talk about. I feel like this just became centered on me, and I don't like it.
Yes, you do. You love centering on Dalton.
When it's a good thing, not when it's Dalton's a piece of shit. Let's talk about how Dalton's a piece of shit today.
Not a piece of shit, but
What? It's fine. I understand. So I'm trying to come up with something to do next year for a vacation. I usually go somewhere every year. And I have not...
did you ever do your WrestleMania thing?
No. You know how hard it is to coordinate my friends to do anything?
You've been to Vegas 4 times this year.
Well, that's Vegas. It's different. It's very easy. You get on a plane, you go. No, it's impossible to coordinate everything. And I've always wanted to do a houseboat. Have you seen those?
No.
You basically rent this giant yacht
Okay.
that they give you to drive around the lake. It's got 7, 8 bedrooms in it, a water slide off the back of it, grills, a full bar.
Yeah.
And it's pretty reasonable if you get, 16 people to go in with you. It's $50.
Yeah.
I don't know 16 people with $50 who would show up. That's my problem. Have all these great plans. We're going to go to WrestleMania in New Orleans. We're going to go to Mardi Gras. We're going to go do the houseboat. And when it comes down to it, nobody shows or nobody
Yeah.
pays.
Reminds me. When was the last time you cried?
I don't know.
I think there's only 4 times where it's acceptable. 4 things that are acceptable for a man to cry about.
Okay.
His truck, his dog, his mama, and Andre the Giant.
Is it you? Are you the reason? Okay, so we do the strip cover lit thing. We share the YouTube account. So like we both have the login. And like I've been getting notifications about Andre the Giant on my like phone.
I
left
have
and right.
I have
Is it
no
you?
I that's what started me down the route was the notifications. Like all these Andre the Giant videos started popping up and I was like, well, it's Andre the Giant.
It's Andre the Giant.
I have to watch it because it's okay to cry. The man just loved to live.
He did.
He just loved to live, man.
He was a genuinely good guy. The best French athlete France has ever produced.
Well, it'd be hard for him to be the best French athlete Germany had ever produced, or
That's fair.
that's the best French athlete that Russia had ever produced.
Have you ever watched any like documentaries on like old wrestlers and things like that?
Oh, all the time I get lost in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're interesting. They're
That's
really
what this
interesting.
is. Apparently, there was a new documentary on Andre the Giant,
Okay.
and some son of a bitch has uploaded it in 3-minute clips.
Bitch.
And it was just I logged on to the strip cover account one day, and they were all sitting there.
I'd watch it.
And I was like, yeah, I put it on. Like I was trying to do it as background, to like just have something playing while I'm like writing, and he just loved to live, man.
Like I wouldn't cry about my truck because I don't have one.
Truck's a beautiful thing.
I have a weird like, and this comes from my father, like getting emotional with like when people die.
Yeah.
It's not a thing with me.
You love your dogs.
We're getting there. Andre the Giant, okay, but my fucking dog, man,
He just loved to live, man.
just loved to live and drink beer that looked like little tiny like tomato juice cans in his giant hands.
Poor son of a bitch.
Any story about an old professional wrestler is immediately fascinating.
And I don't
Because
know
that
why.
It's a weird world. These were guys who were so in love with their craft of being performers.
Yeah.
Not necessarily athletes, performers.
Well, athletic performers,
Athletic
right?
performers,
but not
yes.
tough
Like,
guys.
I've made this argument for the longest time. When you think of a professional wrestler now, you think of somebody like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Right.
Built.
Right.
Go turn on the first WrestleMania and tell me they looked like that. It looks like your uncle got drunk and made it into the ring and put a mask
Not
on.
WrestleMania, no.
Like the first WrestleMania.
Right. So Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant was WrestleMania 3.
Okay.
So you're not talking WrestleMania. You're talking
Maybe I'm talking like NWA.
Yeah, you're talking pre WWF being
Okay. That's fair.
you're talking what is it? What were they called? Regional wrestling. What was it called? Territories. You're talking territories.
Go back to like the Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
Flair for the gold.
Yeah.
Flair for the gold starts out with no introduction, just 2 really large overweight guys wrestling in masks. And they're just called like Contender 1. That's it.
Yeah.
So like performers. But anyway, love their craft, not good money in it.
No.
There's still not good money. Unless you make it big,
Unless you're in the WWE.
there's no pay.
Right.
But literally just traveling the world and putting their bodies at risk to do something they love. It's fascinating to start with.
It's like Carnival Strongman stuff is where it started.
It is.
It's like 2 Carnival Strongmen in a ring.
But when you go back to the old ones, the old school ones, like Andre the Giant, Ric Flair, and you get to hear about those stories before anything was really regulated, and we're like, oh, let's just do it. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
There used to be this thing where, like, everybody knows who The Undertaker is. He's a big name in wrestling. If you don't, just Google it. You'll find him.
You'll know who he is.
You'll know who he is. He used to be basically the cooler backstage. Did you know this?
Yeah.
And, like, basically, if there was an argument between wrestlers, you would go to The Undertaker and present him a bottle of Jack Daniels, and he would basically hold court.
Yeah.
And be like, well, you're in the wrong, so you're going to get your ass kicked now. End of story.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely wonderful. Any story from Ric Flair as well.
Apparently, Macho Man Randy Savage was just a terrible guy.
There's a lot of wrestlers who were not great people.
Yeah.
There was there used to be a show called like Wife Swap, where or it used to be like Wife Swap, and then they did like a husband swap, where basically like they take 2 families and then like move 2 people, and they did a special edition where Ric Flair changed places with Rowdy Piper, and like Roddy Piper was like, a pretty conservative guy, kind of lived in a little cabin, had a nice, calm, easygoing life. Ric Flair is not a character. Ric Flair is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
That is him. And, like, they had to switch and then, like, try to, like, become that person. But before they did that, they got to continue to live. They got to take their other families out and, like, this is how I live. And Rick's at the bar buying people drinks, showing off his watches. And, like, it's such a nightmare, but it's so great. Because, like, if I understand correctly, they really didn't like each other to start with. And, like, I don't think that was a faux thing. They just weren't huge fans of each other.
Yeah.
And just...
There was heat.
Polar opposites of people. Polar opposites.
Which, by the way, that the Andre the Giant thing led me down just this huge rabbit hole on YouTube to Piper's Pit. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah.
Piper's Pit. Roddy Piper looked the same for about 40 years.
Okay.
I mean, worse than Johnny Depp.
Okay.
Looked the same for about 40 years. Just the exact same person.
My
Copied
father
and pasted.
has not aged since 1978.
Really?
Yeah, he looks exactly the same. Same mustache, same haircut, same build. Looks exactly the same.
Interesting.
I thought you were going somewhere with that.
No,
I
it's just,
think
it's just that is so impressive.
It is.
The guy looked the same for 4 decades, man.
I saw a post not long ago. It couldn't have been more than a week ago since we're talking professional wrestling now. Where it says, like, a doctor has cleared Ric Flair to go back in the ring.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, no.
No.
Did you ever, I have to end on this. Did you ever see Ric Flair's retirement match?
No, I did not.
So it's WrestleMania, right? Ric Flair gets his last robe, and it's hugely extravagant. And they do, like, the signs in the crowd just say woo all the way across and just O's. And, like, Rick comes to the ring, and he's wrestling Mr. WrestleMania Shawn Michaels. And, like, that's who he wanted to wrestle. And, like, a good thing in wrestling is, like, when you're retiring, you go out on your back. You pass the torch to the young guy. And, like, it's a great match. Ric Flair puts his all into it for 30 minutes, and you can tell, like, the man's knees hurt. He doesn't look good. He's old. And, like, it finally comes down to it. Ric Flair is in the middle of the ring, covered in blood, bawling. Like, doing this whole thing to Shawn Michaels, like, come on, do it. Shawn Michaels, like, looks at Ric Flair, and, like, you can see him mouth the words, "I'm sorry, I love you," and kicks him and pins him, and it's over. The most touching fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, that match will level you.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Something, I know there are Kansas City wrestling industries.
We should do it.
We should do it for Bantam.
We're going to talk about this off camera. I've got a hookup for you. Anyway, this is Strip Cover Lit. This was Variety Hour. If you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the like button down below and subscribe to Strip Cover Lit as well. We do Variety Hour every week. And if you want to help us create more great content like this here on Strip Cover Lit and our literary reviews, there's a link, as always, to our Patreon to be found in the description below.
I want to check it.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Okay.
I don't think the camera moved.